hometown haunt? A real-life night at the museum? Grab a snack and help us unpack all that and more. It's time for Ghost Files Debrief. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Bergara, and that thing over there is my colleague, Shane Madej.
Hello, and welcome to Ghost Files Debrief. Each week, we look back at our most compelling evidence, behind-the-scenes moments, and revel in your natural farts. That's short for fan art.
Now, the National History Museum. Always fun to be in a museum.
It's been a while, I feel like, since we've done a hometown haunt. Los Angeles, California, Tinseltown.
A very, very respected institution in the Natural History Museum allowed us to be the first people to ever investigate there.
We're the most authentic, trustworthy ghost hunters in the world.
We want to do more home haunts, and we would love for them to be in Los Angeles. So if you have a haunted home in Los Angeles, please email ghostfiles@watcherentertainment.com, and we will come to your house, and we will cleanse it.
We'll get all up in there.
That's right, I'll rub every part of my body on your house.
Why you always gotta be a disgusting little pig? I think we alluded to this episode a little earlier in the season because obviously, first couple episodes of this season, a lot going on. Episode 1, holy moly, more stuff than we've encountered in a place ever.
That's correct.
And here is our counterbalance to let you know that we're not making this stuff up.
No, exactly. This was,
No.
This was basically Shane and I going on a date to the Natural History Museum, and there happened to be a camera crew there, and all the lights were off. That's basically what this was. And look,
it was very fun and spooky to walk around. But not a lot happened, right?
It's cool and spooky to walk around a museum at night and look at bones of giant creatures that once walked the earth.
Yes.
I looked at a T-Rex for a brief moment, looked into its eyes, imagined what it would look like if it came back to life at that moment with full skin and everything. No ghost evidence though. And that's fine.
Sometimes when we leave a location and not a ton happens, then in post, after scouring the footage, you might find, a visual anomaly, some kind of sound that picks up on the EVP. Is that more of what we got in this
We got
episode?
some bonks and clonks.
Okay.
They're nothing substantial compared to episode 1 and 2 of this season, but there are a couple bonks and a couple clonks.
Hey, it's the season of bonks and clonks,
But
baby.
I do have to say, we do not fabricate evidence. Sometimes a haunted location is not active the night you're there. That's just the nature of the biz. If you watch a ghost show where things happen every single time,
it's bullshit.
I wouldn't say it's bullshit,
It
but
is. They're
be
fucking
discerning.
Yes.
Exercise some critical thinking.
I agree.
Shall we get into this evidence?
Yes.
First piece of evidence.
I'm eager to see what we got.
Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody?
What's up with you?
Cool hoodie, Ryan.
I had a hoodie like that once. I got it from,
Are you thinking of WatcherStuff.com?
There's nothing much. I'm just protecting myself from the Shadow Man. I think he followed us from our investigation over in Trans-Allegheny. I was listening to a podcast about him the other day, and they were saying it's the way the metal interacts with his plasma, so I don't know. I'm just keeping myself safe.
Oh my god, shadow plasma?
I don't think that's how that works at all.
it had pins like that too, and patches, and stickers from,
I bet all that merch would look sweet on this sick jean jacket.
No, listen, man, that's exactly how it works. Have you ever even seen the Shadow Man around? Have you?
There were totes, and stickers, and, cute little plushie shaped like a little blue man.
Was it watcherstuff.com, Itzy? Is that what you're thinking of?
That's it, that's the one. I love that silly little site.
Yeah, well, did you know that Watcher TV members get a bunch of bonuses, including exciting discounts and deals on Watcher Stuff merch?
No way!
Yeah, that's right. And for those of you watching out there right now, we're running a special little 15% discount in honor of the Ghost Files YouTube launch. Just check out the code below to get shopping. And a little ghosty told me there's more to come.
All right, yeah. Now that's
I'm a skeleton.
Woo! All right.
Bye, Shadow Man.
So on the ground level, our ghost hunting devices started acting a little bit odd. Maybe it was the table girl messing around.
Table girl.
Table
Sounds like
girl.
some sort of like grade school nickname.
Yeah, or
Table girl.
yeah. Table girl.
She hides under the table. Table girl over here.
Well, I was gonna say it sounds like something some D-bag would say in a club when he's talking to like somebody.
Table girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, table girl.
Like a Bruce Wayne.
bring
would
me,
be,
bring us around to Ciroc.
Is there anybody in here that would like to talk to us? We'd love to hear from you. Oh, my SLS just died.
Uh-oh. This is a nice
And my
building.
flashlight just died.
Huh?
Shut up. You shaking the camera.
You gotta have fun when
That's
you can
pretty
in this
good.
life. you
That's
know.
only marginally worse than your normal camera work, too.
Shoo.
If I didn't know you were doing a bit, I would be like, maybe Shane had a little extra caffeine today.
This is something we resort to when you don't have any evidence, you know. Oh, the battery ran out.
I mean,
It
battery
must be
ran out on both my
ghosts.
flashlight and the SLS.
Around the same time. I guess that's something.
Around the same time in that spot.
It was cool to be in the sort of behind the scenes of the museum.
Yeah,
there.
we were in the the bowels of the basement.
Reminded me of the motion picture The Relic.
Anyways, this is interesting. People,
Well, this is interesting.
It is interesting. Some
What'd you
people
say?
think that, and I'm always saying some people because this is, as you say, this is not written in some sort of textbook.
Yeah.
Some people do believe that ghosts can cause electronic interference, and that means turning off your devices, making them act wonky, draining your battery.
Sure.
And at
They
this,
drain that thing.
yeah.
They like vampires? Do they like suck the juice out of the battery?
Yeah, they're putting a spectral straw.
But then what do they even
into the
use it
SLS
for?
in
Because
one-
like you would think if your battery drained, then they'd be like charged up. So then they'd be like, like Hulk mode.
Or yeah, like when Thor electrocutes
doing
Iron
with
Man,
the
and he
energy?
has like maximum power.
They're just having a little snack, and then they're like,
Well, maybe ghosts are like the ghosts in Alone, in which case they're really famished, and just a little energy is enough to get them through the day to burn some cows.
and then if they don't, suck up a Duracell,
Yeah. Then they're
go
just
to
all-
hell?
No, they're all just laying on the ground like this around haunted locations.
I guess that it would explain why they don't do anything.
Cases,
Anyway,
they were
is this-
charged.
That's great. What's our next? What's our next bit of evidence here?
Next piece we got here is me getting a little aggressive with a ghost when we're doing the Estus method.
Oh,
with
this is
the
always
spirit
fun
box.
because I don't know what's going on during these.
Toe
Jam.
Toe jam. I don't think they have that up here.
Scott.
Okay. Oh, a lot of folks coming through. If you're up here with
Tense.
I'm always tense. Are you tense?
Justice.
What are you, Batman? Are you the person that's been dropping books?
Leave with me.
I will not leave with you. Where do you want me to leave to?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter. That's like the number one thing you want to know when someone says
Save the option.
I'm not going to save the option. I'd like the option to stay if you
Eat
want.
it.
Eat what?
Boy.
Don't call me boy. Who am I talking to right now?
Go home.
You go home. This is ridiculous.
Cocktail.
Are you drunk right now? Are you on some spirit? Can I talk to whoever's collection this is? It was a crazy conversation. I don't remember this at all.
It's always nice to hear the other side of those convos.
Call me boy.
Eat it, boy.
Boy, leave with me. Cocktail.
Fun ghost.
Yeah, I guess so. It sounds like that ghost was up to no good. I'm glad I didn't leave with that ghost. Anytime someone says leave with me and then follows it up by saying just cocktail.
Never go to a second location.
Never go to a second location, especially if there's cocktail making.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I did have a very nice conversation in here during my solo. That was actually really nice. It's because you prompted me to say something about myself. Say something nice about myself, which was, as you know, my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And that was very rude of you to do that to me.
Well, sometimes that's what friendship is.
Here we have the table girl again. She's, not wanting anything to do with the best ghost hunters in the world, apparently. Let's get into this little mag light.
Maybe you're not a paleontologist at all. Maybe you're a table girl.
If you're a table girl.
Table girl.
It's gonna sound like Jim Carrey. Cable guy. Cable guy.
Table girl. Tabla gerbler.
Flash like that.
Table girl, little girl from downstairs. Are you here?
It's usually like a slow fade on.
No, you never get a tap like that's what you typically would get.
If you want us to leave, tap that light.
Or
Yeah.
if you want us to leave right now, turn off the light. Or drop a book on our head.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty timely responses.
Yeah.
I know this doesn't compel you in any way. So.
It doesn't, but it's always fun when it works out, and then people think it's scary because that's good
Certainly
for
is.
the show.
By the way, we are calling her Table Girl because we quite literally do not know her name. There was no information on this Table Girl, so unfortunately, she is Table Girl.
She's table girl now.
And if we had no names, we would be Chairman 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Who's 1 and who's 2?
I'm probably number 1.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. You're taller. And last but not least, a moment I had on the stairs where the family was heard screaming. There was a family heard screaming on the staircase. They got locked
Is that where
in
we
there.
found the dead bird?
We did find a dead bird here, but this is actually more a response on the obelisk. Need some help?
Safe.
Oh, okay, all right. You feel safe with me here? Console. I heard you needed help. Do you need my help?
Once. Stare.
Ho, once and stare. You did need once, help once, and you were on the stairs. Hey, that's called
Oh boy, yeah,
investigative
I guess we're
thinking.
really scraping the bottom of
No,
the
that's
bucket on this
investigative
one.
thinking. What am I supposed to do with things that the obelisk is saying but make sense of them? And it's saying it
Yeah.
needed help and to be consoled one time on the stairs.
Okay, really good.
This is what an investigator does,
I know.
okay? You would be the worst actual detective. You would see like blood and be like, oh, what am I supposed to think? There was a murder here?
That's why I'm not a detective.
And I am.
No, you're not.
I am. Like I said up top, not a lot of evidence in this location, but nonetheless, a treat to be at a museum all to ourselves.
Fun. You know what? That's the whole point of these investigations, to go see what happens.
That's
You know,
correct.
they're not all gonna be jam-packed full of ghouls, as far as we could see. Not a ton. But honestly, you know, more than I expected. Because when we walked away from that place, I was like, not a lot going on here. But
Well-
in retrospect, fair, you know, some stuff happened.
As you know,
It's
when
not
it
like
comes,
razzle-dazzle.
Well, when it comes to paranormal investigations, as you know, the real investigation begins after the on-site investigation. When
Yeah,
you're
because
looking
that's
through
when
all-
you're
when you look through all-
desperate for more
Well, no, when
evidence.
you're looking through all the footage and analyzing the audio and video, that's
Orbs.
typically when things are found.
You didn't stoop to orbs, so I give you that. And this
you
was
know
a dusty
I'm
place.
not an orb guy.
This was a
all
dusty
I'm
place.
Not
There
an
were
orb
orbs
head.
a-popping.
Anyways, if any of you folks saw other things in the episode that we maybe missed, drop it down in the comments and we'll take a look at that evidence that eluded us.
Yes.
Moving right along, we wanted to take a look at more of your guys' naturally produced farts. Fan art.
That's short for fan art.
Thank you guys for drawing all of this beautiful art. Can't wait to take a look at it. Let's dive right in. This one comes from @ClaireKey.
Claire Key.
Us looking at the Boo Goo containment unit.
And it looks like to be uncontained. We always worry about this. At some point, you know, these gauges are gonna go crazy and shit's gonna, you know, it's gonna erupt out of here. But
We've been hearing footsteps, you know,
genuinely?
around our bedroom. Yeah.
What? Wait, what? At home?
At home.
What do you mean?
Footsteps.
Footsteps.
And we know for a fact it was not the pee-pee man. The pee-pee man's my dog.
Because you don't like put stilettos on him and let him walk around.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we have little sensors on his feet, little shoes he wears, and that way I could tell if it's him.
You have little shoes that he
We
wears.
don't, but wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool? We don't. No, he's just a dog.
But this
they-
is this is
was
beautiful.
bonking. So maybe something did get out of the
Yeah,
Boo Goo
look at our
containment.
hair in this thing.
Majestic.
Stunning. I'll
You
say it again. I say this every time someone draws art like this. Thank you for the jawline.
That's right. Thank you for giving Shane a chin.
I really appreciate it.
You have a decent jaw.
I have a chin, you know.
Well, now you're not doing. You're doing. It's a decent chin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire, for this
Thank
lovely
you, Claire.
image.
It's stunning.
Moving on to Dia_Nastrom.
The Ghoul Boys.
Oh, this is a remake of our promo for BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Which season was that?
I think this might have been like 5 or 6. It was the true crime season.
Classic one.
And it's this is an image of me cutting Shane's head off.
Yeah. Hopefully that never happens.
Hopefully it never happens.
I hope and I pray every night.
Please don't let.
Please don't let tomorrow be the day that Ryan cuts my head off.
By the way, do you want to go with me to the machete show? We could show off all our machetes.
No,
and
that's
see
okay.
how sharp they are.
No, you're good, man. You're good. What's next?
Moving on to Austin 3.0, an 8-year-old.
An 8-year-old? He looks like he made this in like paint or something. There's a lot going on in this one. Watcher Ghost Files. Nice. That says, what's your name? Death. Death is there? What are your names?
Is that you? It looks like you have one of those fake glasses on that has
It
like
says,
the mustache.
It says Death though. I don't know if that's me.
What's your name?
And then we got the REM pod down there. That looks like you. Maybe I'm just this tall piece of shit.
Oh yeah,
over here.
the orange beanie. That's definitely me. And I like him just nice. Nice.
We should, in all our promotional material for Ghost Files, we should quote Austin 3.0.
That's right.
Then just have one critic quote on there. Nice.
Nice. No period either.
Thank you, Austin. That's very
This
fun.
is great. I love this. Moving on.
Well,
This
look
is
at this.
at the Bergoose.
The Bergoose.
The Bergoose, and this is an image of me as a goose.
That's pretty good.
And I got the spirit box in my beak and my little orange beanie with the hair coming out.
That's really nice.
I love this. And we have the waveform of the spirit box in the background. This is really cute. It's a funny. I'm dressed like.
With the all white, it's pretty good. Let's check out our final bit of art here. This looks incredible. What do we got?
This comes from Mikkel Hagen from the land of everlasting crusty snow.
Look at that.
Beautifully
What are we
rendered.
up to
Holy
here?
moly, look at this image.
There's a little professor back there.
I'm trying to see what's on the tombstone. We got Lizzie Borden, Bathsheba from the Conjuring House is right there.
Look at your happy little face.
I do look like a happy little guy. This is honestly,
You look like a hobbit there.
this might be the only image ever drawn of me that you can see my Latino heritage.
We do genuinely look like Gandalf and Frodo.
Yeah, this is an insane image. Wow, I'm truly kind of blown away by this. The amount of detail and references stuffed into this is kind of incredible. So
really
thank
cool.
you, Mikkel Hagen from the land of everlasting crusty snow. Thank you to everybody who sent in all that art and for taking the time to make it. It's
beautiful.
Really amazing stuff. We're gonna toss it right now to future Ryan and future Shane, who are joining us from the Ghost Files tour.
Ryan and Shane, take it away.
And now, Qua, everyone's favorite section where we answer questions from you guys. But before we hop in, we've got to take a moment to play back this additional piece of evidence that Eagle-Eyed at Evie Nevin pointed out. And this is right at the top of the night. Evie says, quote, at 7:49, can hear someone whisper just before Ryan's torch and SOS went off. Let's roll the clip.
And then the relic killed a bunch of people.
Is there anybody in here that would like to talk to us? We'd love to hear from you. Is there anybody in here that would like to talk to us? We'd love to hear from you. Haha, that's good. That's really good. What did you hear? What did you hear?
Keep it in your pants, buddy. Oh, that was really
That was
something.
really good. What did you hear, Shane?
I don't know. It just sounded like sort of a reverb or.
Sounded like someone saying us.
Yeah, it did sound like that. Right after you said us. I don't know. It just sounds like a shoe.
It sounds
You
like a
know,
shoe?
A shoe, a fabric swish. These sort of whispers that are just like. That's not much. I want consonants in these. I've said that before. I want some hard consonants.
I was about to say S is a consonant.
That's a soft one.
You only like it hard.
That's right.
That's your preference.
So this evidence stinks.
No, this evidence is pretty good. I
Okay.
can hear us. It's delayed. It definitely is not a reverberation or an echo. I ask if there's anybody in there with us, and then there's a pause. There's even a little breath
Would
before.
anyone like to talk to us? Is that what you
And
said?
it goes, us. He's like he was excited.
Yeah. We would like to. But then they didn't talk to us.
Well, because we didn't acknowledge them after they said us.
You got so many rules, man.
Well, that's just the way dialogue and talking works. If you said like, if I was like, hey, anybody in here with me? And you went, me. And I was like, okay, well, let's go to the ice cream shop. You'd be like, hey.
Then I'd probably, I'd be like, hey,
Or-
you just proved my point.
No,
I'd be
think-
like, hey, I said me, you stupid piece of shit.
Yeah, but if we didn't hear the first one, what makes you think we're gonna hear the second one?
I don't know, because I'm standing in the room right with you.
Well, imagine their frustration when you're like, it's just a shoe.
I think it's a shoe.
Whatever. Whatever, dude. Thank you, Evie. That's actually, I can't believe we missed that, but thank you for catching that.
All right, on to the cues. Our first one comes from Alyssa Ruiz. Alyssa says, quote, for the debrief, for the preservation of the specimens, the Natural History Museum has to be kept in much better condition than other haunted places you've visited. The pest control, air filtration and ventilation, access to outsiders, etc. would all be above standard. Shane, do you think this could be a factor into the lack of bumps and thuds you experienced?
Bonks and clonks.
Now, Ryan, do you think this gives more credibility to the ones you did hear? That's a great question.
It is a great question, and I do think it gives a little bit more credibility to the things that we did here, including that us that we just heard.
I do think that lends itself to maybe a quieter hunt, because a great example, a lot of other places we shoot in are old rickety wooden buildings.
That's correct.
Wood known to creak.
Yes.
Stone slabs, not so much.
No creaking.
No creaking.
I will say that I do think this gives the voices that we do hear, including the one that we just
That
listened
whisper
to,
was great because it was in a spookier part of the building.
and pretty silent in there. I don't even know if I want to say this because I don't really believe in this.
This is a safe space, you could say it here.
Look, I am not a big orb head. You already know that. I think most of the time.
He hates orbs.
Well,
essentially.
I'm bringing it up because, like, in the evidence room for this episode, which you can see on Watcher TV, we show some alleged orb evidence that we caught on our own statics, and I do think that it's mostly dust and bugs, and I say this. And I was gonna say, well, this place is more well taken care of, but even a well taken care of museum can have.
Still has a dead bird here and there.
Oh my God, you're right, there was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that's gonna happen. That was down in a little.
Is that gonna happen?
Well, it was down in a little stairwell. That building's huge. It was pretty dusty down there. I don't think they used that stairwell.
No, it was-
You see how many dead birds do you think there are in airports around the world?
Next question is from Georgia the Lander. If this were a night at the museum type of situation, which of the specimens you saw in the museum would you be most excited to see come to life, and which would you be most scared to see come to life? Great episode, boys.
Thank you, Georgia.
Thank you, Georgia. Great question. I thought about this myself as I was walking through.
It has to be the funny guy, right? Professor Pelican?
Yeah,
what's his
Percy
name?
the Pelican.
Percy.
Well, actually, he was pretty scary too. He had those sunken eyes.
Yeah, but they weren't moving. If they were moving and like lit up and he was like, "Hello, boys, I love you." What if he came alive and said, "Hello, boys, I love you"?
I'd probably be more scared of him.
Would you put your fist down his throat?
You asking me if would I fist a pelican?
Well, tear his heart out through his...
He has a pretty big gullet. I think he could handle my fist.
That's true, he'd really get in there.
You could probably fit at least 20 hot dogs.
What would you like to see come alive besides Percy?
The monkeys. The monkeys in the diorama room.
Monkeys, yeah.
You're not gonna say the monkeys as a fellow chimp head?
Yeah.
It's gotta be
I
the
was gonna say
monkeys.
all of the birds, because then they could I'd look like the lady in Home Alone 2,
Yeah, the bird lady.
Yeah.
Or like that scary movie about the birds called The Birds. Now let me get to what I wouldn't want to happen.
Dino?
I would not want that T-Rex to come
You can't
alive.
be messing with Dino DNA.
If that T-Rex came alive, that's big trouble for me. In the episode I talk about this, I played briefly, there is a clip of what an actual T-Rex sounded like, and it's horrifying.
It's like, oh.
No, that sounds like you getting up. It sounds more like,
Yeah, that'd be good. Okay, next question is from Francesca Thornton, who asks, if you could haunt any museum, where would you want to go? I personally would love to haunt Duxford Museum in the UK, which is the Air Museum. Imagine all the cool plane shows I could see for free, and making pails with other war ghosts attached to their planes.
we saw this at the USS York.
I don't remember seeing anything there.
Well, we didn't, but I was saying we saw people claiming that they would see cockpit ghosts.
And a bunch of Boy
Still
Scouts.
up there.
A bunch of dumb fucking Boy Scouts were like, I saw a lady in the water.
Yeah, the entire troop saw it and their leader.
I think this is a little stereotypical of an answer. I'd like to haunt the Art Institute in Chicago.
Oh my God, this is just so you could brag about how great that museum is.
It is, I think, the finest
is.
art museum in the world.
I would probably haunt.
Stop that.
Who would I haunt?
Why are you doing this? What would you haunt?
The Met. Just a classic night at the museum.
Sure.
It's a cool museum too. Yeah. Okay, next question. This one's from Lucy M. How many people go room to room with Shane and Ryan? If there are multiple members of the crew tagging along for most of the investigation, how do you distinguish between ghost noises and noise the crew may make even just accidentally? Love the show so much, and the behind the scenes footage from Road Files. Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you, Lucy.
When we're going room to room, what we'll do is it's usually me, Shane, and just Mark, our cameraman and director, and the rest of the crew will be just stationed outside that room. So we're not like continuously rolling, and once we start rolling, they will just stand completely still, and if one of them happens to like cough or make a noise, first off, this gets cut out of the episode. Anytime we hear anything, and I actually hear it on location, I will ask, is that anybody? Did anybody shift? Did anybody move? And if the answer is no, we'll put it in the episode.
And usually in post, you even do a little more work.
Yes.
To confirm, making sure it's not a microphone that was like rubbing up against someone's something or other, or like,
Yeah, for instance, earlier in this episode when you had the us that we heard, I would go through each of our microphones, mine, Shane's, and even the camera mics, like, because each camera has its own, like, not professional style microphone, but it has its own onboard mic, and I'll check all of those audio sources to make sure it's not coming from one of us.
Right.
TLDR version of that is not many people are moving with us room to room. The rest of the crew is stationed farther away and remains silent and still, or I will murder them.
Mary Glittenberg, our old pal,
Hello,
says,
Mary.
quote, I feel like the boys in this episode have multiple moments of forgetting they are ghost hunting and are just excited nerds in a museum, LOL. For Debrief, to Table Girl, you mentioned she must have died of old age and then returned to the museum to haunt it because she liked it. Cool boys, where is somewhere you liked as a child that was special enough for you to go back to haunt?
Just a response to that first part of the question.
Yeah.
This place just was not that active.
And usually we're trying to have a little bit of fun in those instances.
In this particular case, it was fun because we were given this great honor to be in the Natural History Museum, which is a place I used to go on field trips, and to be there at night alone was really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were kind of nerding out in that respect, but yeah, you missed a whole bunch of footage of us just like waiting for things to happen and doing proper investigating.
Where would you like to haunt that you visited as a child?
Disneyland.
That's not a shocker. I think for me, it'd be like a J.C. Penney in Schaumburg, Illinois.
Did you used to do that thing
That's
where you
exactly why I want to do it.
would hide in the clothes
You
racks,
hide in
the circular
in the
clothes
circular
rack,
clothes rack.
and you get on top of
On
the
top of
frame,
the
on the
crossbar.
crossbar, so you can't see your feet. And you're
what you
hiding
do?
in there, and you wait till someone's sorting through the shirts.
And then you,
no, wait, I'm not a
you
medium,
grab
I'm
their
actually a
hand and
large.
start licking their fingers.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, but
No, me neither.
I would cock punch people.
A what? Hiding was one of my favorite things in life.
And you could hide forever as a little ghost. Well, I mean, you're gonna be a ghost boy, right?
Yeah, I hope I'd be a little
I don't
boy.
think you could hide this in one of those circular racks. I probably could. Yeah. Let's see you get as small as you possibly can. That's it.
Is that good?
Watch this, watch this.
How small can you get? Where'd you go? Hey, look at that. That's good. Our final question.
Caitlin Keys. That's a cool name. Shane, can you give us what we want and redo the T-Rex impression?
No.
You refused to do the T-Rex impression?
Yeah, I did. You know, I mentioned this at some point in the season. I don't know if it made it into any of the episodes. There's a certain thrill to walking around these places and sort of like having fun with it and being goofy. Once these challenges started to come in that were like, do a little bit of this in this place, it really felt like I was at a party and someone was like, do that impression. You know?
I accomplished my goal then.
Yeah, you did. You really made me hate solos.
For years, he's been able to torture me in these solos, and I was like, well, here's my chance to get some revenge and really annoy him.
I continue throughout the season to be mildly annoyed by them. I think maybe this is the peak of it.
This is the peak annoyance.
Yes.
To be fair, you did something super nasty to me.
I did, yeah, that's fine. I hope next season you'll make me do more scary stuff, you know?
Yeah, I'll make you do more scary stuff so you don't,
I don't want to feel,
throw a little tantrum.
I didn't sign up for a UCB 101 class, you know? Here we are with Q&A part 2. I'm not calling it qua.
Thank God.
I'm resisting.
I am so thrilled to hear that.
With some questions from our friends over on YouTube. Now, Ryan's out gallivanting in Japan at the moment. How fun.
Very fun.
So I'm here with our producer, Lizzie Lockard,
That's me.
to answer your burning questions. Gotta try and keep this fair and balanced.
Well, that's...
Ryan's not here.
He's not here, and that's good. You know, get him out of here. We shipped him off to Japan.
We said, we've had enough. We need
Yeah.
a vacation
Scram.
from you. You're, I think we've covered this before, you're sort of in the middle of the spectrum. You don't call yourself anything at all.
No, my category is called the cool people or cool kids, and we're
Cool people.
yeah, we're the people who don't want to know.
Okay, let's go. Jump right into our first question. This is from YouTube, at Levivi?
I like
5742. Shane, do you ever actually feel bad that Ryan's scared, or is it just funny to you, LMAO?
I've wondered this as well.
No. Do you?
No.
That's what he's there
He
for.
brought this upon himself.
He's been doing this for 8 years.
He's a glutton for punishment. You
I
know what
want him to be scared. Let's move on to the next question. Lizzie, you got this one.
Up next, we've got a question from Julia Perez 2098, who asks, "How'd you get this gig at the museum? Were you invited? This has to be the coolest place you've investigated." Ah, thanks.
Lizzie, you can speak to that.
I can. Ryan reached out. Normally I'm reaching out to places.
Yeah.
He shot him a little texty text. I guess he knew about theories of it being allegedly haunted for a while, and so he
You
was
just
like,
reached out and they said, yeah.
yeah. We originally were going to be doing a local theater, and they kind of fell through. So.
Theater has long been on our list of to-dos, which we've never done a theater.
Which is crazy because every Ghost Files Live we
They're
go
like,
to,
come
they're
to
like,
our theater.
It's haunted here. There was a lot of layers of getting it approved, and it did.
Well,
We
they were
like,
very
"Hell
sweet.
yeah."
It was a very fun staff and
Yeah.
crew there. They put out a whole dang charcuterie board.
I actually bought that.
That was you.
That was me.
Lizzie put out a whole charcuterie. Is it because we had guests?
It's because we had guests.
All right, our next cue comes from Miranda Nunnally, who writes, Ryan Shane, if you haunted an object, what would it be and how would your haunting manifest? P.S. I don't like the Buzuki. I miss the REM pod. I would just haunt the original professor puppet, the little guy.
Would you make him run around?
I'd just make him become, I'd be real. But yeah, that'd be fun, just seeing him walking around,
Run
you know?
around. Yeah, that freaked me out. Would the professor that you're haunting puppet the current professor?
No, I'd just like hop on the stage and just be him.
Moving on, this one was submitted by Brave Mollusk 92. Would you guys ever consider doing an episode where you guys investigate 3 separate locations and decide which one of the 3 is actually the haunted one? Proud of the stuff you guys have been doing. Oh, thanks.
Thank you, Brave.
On behalf of Ryan.
Is the thought that of the 3, 2 of them are not haunted and 1 is, and we have to see if our... Is that the thought?
I don't think it would work. I see comments like this all the time, and I think if it worked, it would be a good control experiment, but I don't know. I think you would go in regardless of confirmation bias.
That's a lot to spend on a control experiment where it's like spend 2 whole nights investigating places that aren't even haunted.
Yeah. Basically, it's not gonna happen, probably.
Let's move on. And now we've got an interesting query from Adriana Smith 9619. Do you guys or even crew ever feel the cold sensation or cold air that other investigators always say happens? Growing up watching ghost hunting shows, the crew would more likely than not feel the air temperature change, but because of the frequency of them experiencing it, I figured it wasn't a thing or it was being dramatized. I love anyone's opinion. My take on this is that is a very easy thing to do when there's nothing going on. When there's not a lot happening, you can just go, ooh, I felt a chill. Now, in Ryan Bergara's defense, he's done this a couple times.
A few, yeah.
But it's happened so infrequently that I believe him when it happens.
Yeah.
If he has like a chill or something. Because I think you can also get that when you have like the vibes of a place are off-putting or you feel something deep inside you where you're like, ooh, I don't like this.
Yeah. I know it happens twice to Ryan in the final episode of the season.
Does it really?
Yeah, and at one point, you're like, oh, that's the wind. And he turns around and there's like a door with a window in it. And it was chilly out. And then the other one, it's in a place that does not have any windows and there's like no air movement at all. And I think it's happened a couple times in the crew as well, where, you know, we're busy working, we're not thinking too much into it, but on occasion. And like, it's not something Ryan leans on. And
I think the mind, if you are a believer, you can sort of get into that space where you're probably hypersensitive to what's going on.
In tune.
Yeah, you might be more sensitive to temperature changes or even feeling like there's temperature changes or, you know, the vibe of a room. Because like we've talked about this, I think we talked about this recently on Pod Watcher, like the notion that you walk into a room and there's like a bad vibe.
The Villisca Axe Murder House, bad vibes.
But again, you're walking into that house being like, a family was murdered here. So of course it's bad
That's
vibes.
True.
Yeah.
This next one is from Bree Bennett.
BB.
First, love what y'all do. And this is one of my favorite videos of the week.
Oh.
What other videos are you watching this week?
It's my favorite
Bree?
video I watched in the last hour.
Yeah. Second, have you ever had to turn down an offer to go ghost hunting in a location? Actually, yes.
Where?
All the time,
Yeah?
actually, in the way, in kind of roundabout ways. Like there will be places that reach out to us where we just can't find good evidence from them. So it's sometimes we just ignore the reach outs, sorry. And then sometimes we're just like unable to get to places. Like there's been places in like Australia or Canada that have reached out and it's just like, we can't just pop down to Australia.
I'm sure this is part of the big sort of puzzle of producing this show is that when we travel, you want to make it make sense.
Yes.
You want to like
confirm.
hit up a handful of places that are sort of logically a trip makes sense.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't make sense to go like Boston, Australia, Idaho.
Yeah,
Right?
would love to. Would love that that flight pattern, raking those points, you know. But yeah, for the most part, we can't do that.
Which isn't to say you shouldn't reach out if you're...
Please do.
Because we
Reach
try to
out
make it
even
work,
more.
and if we can't, then we put it on the back burner and say like, well, maybe someday we'll go to Canada.
So if you have any spooky places, especially if you have evidence from them, hello at watcherentertainment.com is probably your best bet.
Hello.
Thank you.
Here's a fun one from Z5060 who asks, for Debrief and or Lizzie in the comments. You were in the comments. You were going,
I was in the comments.
what up, it's Lizzie, dirtbag.
Hey, listen to me.
If dinos became ghosts after death, which dino would you want the most to come back as a ghost? I forgot the full name, but the compies?
Paint me a verbal picture.
Have you seen Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World?
Yes.
The little girl walks in, she sees a little teeny tiny dinosaur. She's like, do you want some food? I have some Jersey Mikes. And she's giving it some food. And then 20 of them show up and she's like, and they all start eating her.
Yeah.
I like those, they're funny. They look like
They're
little...
like piranhas of the land.
Yeah.
I would
You
go
get the biggest one you
opposite
can?
direction, a dreadnought. This one's...
Dreadnoughtus.
Dreadnoughtus, my bad.
That wraps up this investigation. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Ghost Files and Ghost Files Debrief. Remember to submit your questions for the next debrief in the comments of the episode and hashtag debrief.
And for more behind the scenes content, head on over to watchertv.com or hop on the app.
That's right, Watcher TV is where you can check out both the full episode of this week's Road Files as well as the Evidence Room, where you can watch a master compilation of all the stuff we captured at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County.
That's right. And if you're not already a Watcher TV member, join the Boo Crew by using the discount code in the description to shave a little something off a yearly subscription.
We're gonna see you next time, but get ready, because next week, we're going to the UK, baby.
Yeah, boy.
And that begins with the National Justice Museum in Nottingham. And it's a great episode, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For all the lack of haunts that happened, I mean, we had a great time at the Natural History Museum. Not a lot happened. When we get overseas, there's a little, we're kind of back to some more exciting stuff. So, watch that episode, it's really good. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next week.
Have a safe day.
Have a safe day.
Is it possible they just didn't let us see the live penguins?